Caleb Williams, is the betting favorite to win MVP next year. And I can hear everybody already saying, I mean, give me a break. You media people. First of all, he's got two big advantages. He's got a great offensive coach, and his game is fun. Matt Stafford won MVP. You think of Stafford, you're like big-time arm, no-look passes. Mahomes wins MVP, right? What? Left-handed passes. This is not voted on by an algorithm. People vote on MVP. And Caleb Williams, even when you compare him to like really talented Sam Darnold, Caleb's just different. Caleb does stuff nobody else does except Josh Allen. So, and the difference is, I think Caleb Williams, in my opinion, has a better coach than Josh Allen did. And I think Sean McDermott is very, very good. I think Ben Johnson, we may have a great one here. We may have another McVay. So the Bears went from 32nd offense, total offense, to 6th. You know what that feels like to me? Very much like Mike McDonald in Seattle, who took over for Pete Carroll. They went like 30th to 11th to number 1 in the Super Bowl. So I think Ben Johnson in Chicago and Mike McDonald in Seattle, we could be looking at, and I believe this to be true, we got a couple more McVays, guys that are just different. They're just better than everybody else.
Johnson. But within a few years, once I think Ben Johnson can kind of get a little bit more settled and get a little bit more confident and comfortable in the head coaching role, I could see that easily changing. And, you know, Caleb Williams, bro, all the dude needs to do is hit his layups. And you have the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs. This is what I've been screaming, and I'm just going to keep saying it again and again and again and again and again. And it's why takes around the Bears, and even Colin's takes, like, they all just irk me. It's going to take me a little bit longer because I want to linger on this because for whatever reason, the conversations around the Bears just really drive me nuts. I don't know if it's because everybody kept flip-flopping or they just want to go too far to the extreme, either the positive or too far to the extreme of the negative. And it's just like, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. I can't remember the last time that I just listened to just like Chicago Bears takes, no matter where they're coming from, whether it's on First Things First, ESPN, whatever, you know, I'm just like, it just irks me. I don't know why. I got to think about it more. But it just irks me because even this take right here where he's just like, where he's talking about Ben Johnson, and it's just like Ben Johnson's Amaz. Ben Johnson is amazing. Ben Johnson is brilliant, and they transformed. You realize that the Bears had, if not the best offensive line this past season. They had the #1 pass block win rate, and I think the #3 run block win rate, #3 or 2, whatever it was, like completely transformed. And some of that was by the bodies that they brought in, but then also the play calling and execution from Ben Johnson. And now this is year 2 with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. I already said this. Year 1 was rookie year. I do not care what happened in 2024. This is now year 2 with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. And if Caleb Williams can be a little bit more accurate, put in the work and hit his layups, you get this 2018 Kansas City Chiefs. You can get a year where you're going to have 40, 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards if they want to do that. They might not. They might say, no, we're going to run the ball way. You know, I don't know. That's the versatility and creativity. I don't think it's going to necessarily be about highlighting Caleb's greatness. It's about winning games. So that's why like trying to predict the stats itself is meaningless to me personally. But that's going to be the level that you can play at. Like I get less excited as much as it's awesome in the moment to watch, right? Caleb scramble making that throw against the Packers or against the Rams. Like, yeah, those moments are mind-blowing. Those moments are exciting. Those moments are great. But you know what? That's not what really makes you an MVP. Let's be serious here. It's not Patrick Mahomes didn't make an MVP, didn't win an MVP because of a left-handed throw. That's such nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. That's when those guys become legends. That's when we say those guys, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Sure, man. Those conversations, but that's not necessarily what makes you great year after year after year. Patrick Mahomes this past season was not a top quarterback in the NFL. And it wasn't because he wasn't throwing left-handed passes. This is not snorts what it was. And so when the when the Bears can lock in the operation, when Caleb can execute the offense at an incredibly high level and find that balance between when it's to run that offense at, you know, as advertised, and when it's time to break those rules, when he figures that out and balances that, now you're talking about through the roof and trying to figure out, who's going to win the MVP or not. Like, I could see that being a, way for the Bears or for Caleb. I can see that, especially if you're looking at, like, it's not going to be Stafford. He just won the MVP. If Burrow could stay healthy, I could see that. I'm trying to think of any other random quarterbacks. Feels like Lamar and Josh Allen have lost some public energy there. I could see Justin Herbert potentially. It all depends on what narratives. That's why the MVP conversation itself, I'm not even going to get into right now, because I'm exhausted by how it all unfolded this past year. But I do think, though, that it's a safe bet. I'll say that Caleb will be great. But to be clear, I could see also a very similar year. Honestly, I could see a very similar year where you're seeing some of the spectacular plays, you're seeing some of this greatness, but, like, you're still missing enough of the lips. You're still missing enough where you're like, Caleb, dude, you got to hit that. It's year 3. Come on. You got to hit that. I could still see that. I could still see that. But that's why I'm excited to see, because I think it's all about just the work that Caleb puts in and his mechanics. And I'll be excited because they did this with Daniel Jones. They've done this with Josh Allen. They show, like, oh, look at, Daniel Jones's arm angle in 2019, and, look at Josh Allen's arm angle in 2020 compared to now. And, whatever it is, and the footwork and this or that, like, I'd be excited to see us have that, with Caleb, if they can show us that in week 5 of this coming season of 2026. Like, then I know we're in a good spot. Then I know Caleb and the Chicago Bears are in a great spot, because that means he is going to be more accurate. That means he is going to have a lot more success, and we're going to be able to say, yeah, he's better this year than he was last. But the floor is always going to be insanely high with a Ben Johnson, as long as everyone's healthy enough, as long as you got enough bodies on there. No matter what quarterback you got out there, you're going to be able to put up numbers. You're going to be able to get a lot of production. You're going to get a lot of wins, and that's just the floor. When you have a great coach, and especially a great offensive coach, the floor is always going to be elevated. Always, always, always. You just need the roster to support it. And then the rest is okay. How truly great is this quarterback? How truly special are you? And that now can be shown in different ways. It can be that you just consistent, like what they used to say about Mahomes, which is not necessarily true right now, but that's what they would always say. Mahomes doesn't miss those. And those are the layups. Those are those little 6-yard pass, whatever it is. It's like, oh, Collins would always like, oh, Mahomes doesn't miss that. And the problem is, as of late, he's been able to say that more. Wow, you don't see Mahomes miss that very often. Or, wow, you just don't see Mahomes miss that. And he's saying that because he is missing it. And the greatness now is not as great. And it's like, it's not because of the amazing scramble play. It's being consistent. So if Caleb just is consistent, you don't even need the spectacular left-handed this, right-handed that. If you're just consistent, you combine that with Ben Johnson, well, then you're going to be consistently great. You're going to be hanging 30-plus points. And quite frankly, Jared Goff could have been an MVP, but he got hurt because of the roster and whatnot. And people just don't like Jared Goff as much. People will be ready for Caleb if Caleb has the exact season that a Jared Goff has with Ben Johnson and all that, and puts up the same numbers, gets the number 1 seed and all of that, like Jared Goff had in 2024. I believe that Caleb is the MVP because he'll also have some of the fun, scrambly type moments, which then is kind of what Colin was trying to emphasize. But I think it's more of a metric of how great and consistent you've been playing. That's more important to me, which is why I was de-emphasizing a left-handed throw or whatnot. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb Williams? How bright is the Bears' future with Caleb? And Ben, I don't know if you guys know this, Ben Johnson is a pretty good coach. I want to get ahead of this. I want to be able to tell you guys that I'm the one that saw Ben Johnson's greatness before everyone else. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.